I'm going to show you how to create an AppLab app and just the basic things you need to be able to do for your design today. So go to the website code.org/educate/AppLab, and then when it comes up you'll have this site. You're going to click on Make an App. Make sure that you're logged in as well in the top corner so I can see I'm logged in. Now when you do Make an App, it'll probably bring up something you've created before. Just go Create New. Or if you have yours already, you can go up to My Projects as well and you can find ones that you've been working on. So I'm going to do a new one. Okay, today you're working on design, finishing all the design. Next week we'll do all the coding that you need. So for design, click on Design. We're going to add some screens, and you do this by adding New Screen here. But what you want to do is make sure you give the screens a title that makes sense. So it might be like Quiz Page 1, something like that. You can change background color to whatever you like, and you can even use images as backgrounds as well. So that's the first thing. I'm going to create a new screen. I'm going to call this maybe Quiz Page 2 and different color. Now I'm going to show you how to add the most important elements to each of these screens. So the first screen, we're going to add a button. So a button is something that you can use to click to go to another screen or to another place. Make sure you give the button a name. Okay, so you might call this the Start button. And this is the ID. So the ID is that when we do the coding next week, you'll be able to easily find this button as the Start button. And then give the button some text as well. So I might just want this to be Start. You can resize the button. You can also change its color, and you can change the size of the text as well. In here, you can make it bigger or smaller, and just drag it around. If you drag elements in that you don't want, like, oops, I don't want that, just drag them back over and drop them, they'll disappear. So that's putting in a button. You might also like to add images. To do that, you just grab the image picture, drag it over, and then click Choose to choose an image. You can upload, there's icons that come with AppLab, which are up here. You can pick anything you want, or you can upload things from your computer. So if you've downloaded a picture, like I have a Ferris wheel, you can upload it and then press Choose to choose it. You can resize it by dragging it in and out, and you can move it around. Other things that you might like to add are probably adding a label. A label is when you have only a short amount of text, okay? Give the label an ID, so this might be text box 1. It's basically like a little text box, okay? And you could call this Hello. Okay, you can see I haven't put much text in there. You can change the color, you can change the size, all those things that you can normally do. So if you want to add a lot of text, that's where you want to put a text area. So I would drag that in and then type into that. So you can't click over here to type, you have to click in the text area and say, this is a picture of a Ferris wheel. So that's a little bit more text. Now text boxes will have a background in them. If you don't want the background to be there, all you have to do is just select down here, background color, and you can change the background color to match your background, so it's not obvious. Okay, cool. So that's the main things you'd probably want here. A couple of other things that you might be interested in, I'll put them on the next page, is a drop-down box. Now this is if you're going to have a quiz, okay? So you might call this Quiz Question 2. You want to put your options in here and separate them with an enter, okay? So it might be like the question, I'll just make the question a text, so I dragged a label over. This might be, what is the capital of Australia? And that's my question. And then the options in my drop down, click on the drop down. I'm going to put in Sydney, Melbourne, oops, Perth, oh, and Canberra. Need the actual answer. And background color for your drop down box, you can change this, to whatever you want. Make it pink. All right. So now what will happen, I'm going to run this app. You can see here that we've started on the front page, which is the starting page. Now nothing's going to happen because I haven't actually coded this properly. But on this page here, I'm just going to get this to start on that page. Set screen to Quiz Page 2. So when I run this app now, see when I click on the drop down, I get these options. And if you're doing a quiz, when you do the coding next week, we'll actually be able to get the program to remember what options it's picked, and then you'll be able to use those in your result for your quiz. So a drop down is a really good idea. The other thing that you might like, I'm just going back to design, is check boxes and radio buttons. Now these you can really do a similar kind of thing. You just drag them over. There's not really much to do, just to give them an ID. And again, if you don't want them there, get rid of them. Last thing is probably a text input. Now this is where someone can actually type information in. So if I gave them a question, I could say, text, what is your name? You can actually create an app so that it remembers a person's name and then talks to them through that whole app, through that whole experience. So if I do that, what is your name? Here I've just clicked on the box, the text box. I'll call it text box or name input. So when I do the coding, it's going to be easy to know what to get out of here. And you can type text in here so people know what to do. I just put the question above. And now I'm going to go into run. So now I've got this really cool drop down and I can type into here. I can type my name. So it's going to remember what the user types in here, and next week when we put the coding together, you can use that in your code. So that's sort of an overview of what you need to go through today. Creating your pages, add as many pages as you want. If you do add a page and you don't want it, so I've added this page and I put a button and I don't like it. When you click on the background of the page, it'll have the ID for the page. And you can see at the moment it's called screen 1. I could call this quiz page 3. I don't want this page though, so I'm actually going to click delete. And that will get rid of the page. So now I can see I don't have that page there. I've still got this screen 3. Delete that one as well. So today, design all your pages, get them looking how you want them to look, and then next week we'll work on the coding.